Hello and welcome to an unboxing of a 1/100th scale M3 American tank. It is a US BDM tank that you would typically find in the mid-war era. This kit is made by Zvezda. They have made multiple kits, and you can see here on the side that they have included some of the other kits that they have made. So, and if we look on the back, it shows you basically what the color looks like, what does the kit come with. It will also tell you how many pieces that it has as well. Well, let's open it up and see what we have. Now, these kits were developed for their Art of Tactic game system that Zvezda has. So, but for a number of 15mm gamers, notably Flames of War players, it has been kind of a gold mine in many ways because it is a way of getting tanks without... Okay. So, first thing we have here, we have a basic instructions. As you can see, what part goes into what. Now, Zvezda does pride themselves in that the kits are snapped together, meaning that you do not need glue to hold it. But if you're an experienced modeler, it probably wouldn't hurt. I would imagine that some of the parts would be a little stubborn to fit snugly together, so you might want to do a little bit of work on there. In some cases, sometimes you may have to take an X-Acto blade and drill out a little bit more of the hole that the peg is supposed to go into. Generally speaking, though, the fittings are very tight and snug. Again, you want to pre-fit it before you push it in and snap it together, because if it's not done the right way, you may regret. Doing that. Okay. Well, now let's take a look at the kit itself. Okay, this is not something that I have seen in a number of the Zvezda kits, where it's all in this nice, neat little plastic baggie. That's an improvement. Okay, so we have two sprues. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at this first sprue right here. Let me see if I can zero in on it so you can get a better look. On it. Okay. Maybe put it back a little bit. Alright. I'm a one-man operating crew here. So anyways, as you can see, you got the bottom of the hull, you've got the tracks and the bogey wheels. They're all in one set, which is really, really nice. Okay. Then over here, you have got the sprockets where you attach the tracks and wheels. It would be a nice plus if this and this were combined together as one piece. Kind of like what Battlefront did with their plastic models, which they had recently released, the 4th edition. You can check out my other videos on that. But the details are pretty crisp. You can see the rivets. Although, if you were to look at the rivets closely, you're going to notice they're not as deep compared to Battlefront's Grant/Lee tank, because in Battlefront, with their Alamein Starter kit, the Grant model that they have, the sprue does include the turrets that you can have the Lee version instead of the Grant. The Americans, while they made these tanks, they were not the ones who came up with the term Grant or Lee. Typically, they would use the designation M with a number depending on the sequence that it was in. For the British, this proved to be somewhat confusing and they disliked it. So they decided to give it names like the Grant, the Lee, and the way more obviously seen Sherman, after the American Civil War generals. Which I thought that was pretty cool. So that's one sprue. The second sprue here that you can take a look at. Again, you get to see the detailing, the cable, the shovel, the engine grill. Okay, you can see the doorways here as well. There is a limit to how well I can focus with the camera. So I just wanted to show you guys what this would entail, what this would look like. Now, I have to point out that the 75mm gun, let me see if I can zoom in on the 75mm gun here. Yeah, if you see the 75mm gun right here, this is the one that's got the counterweight on the edge of it. Okay, and that's pretty cool. All right, that's one version. With the Zvezda kits, you basically get a version, and that's it. But, you know, typically for a price of $4.99 for the kit, that's not really bad. A number of my tanks have been Zvezda kits, like my KV-1s, a number of my T-34s, because I used the 1940 model to fill in for the other... for the T-34-76s in the mid and late war. I don't use them to substitute for T-34-85s. I have never had a problem with proxies with other Flames of War players. They're very reasonable, but if you were using a Panzer I and saying, hey, it's a King Tiger, that would be not cool. And I would have a hard time buying it as well. So we flip to the other side, so you can see again all the pegs, all the holes. Okay, you have plenty of pieces in here. I would say you've got more pieces in here than perhaps the Battlefront kit, but I did not sit down and count this out. And that's all right. Now, what is curious is this was meant to be for the Art of Tactic, because if you look in the box here, okay, over this way, it belongs to their Art of Tactics series, where you would include, they would normally have a little flag to go with it, okay, and they would mark that as some kind of a unit. However, what I find interesting is in this kit, there are no flags. There's no flag, and normally you would get a data card to go with it, a laminated card that is part of the Art of Tactics system. They do not have this time around. So, what am I actually led to believe? Well, I think the Russians kind of got the idea that perhaps Flames of War is outselling their Art of Tactic, and they decided, let's make this more for the Flames of War players, and we don't have to worry about adding in the card. We don't have to worry about adding in... Oh, wait, there is the flag. I'm sorry. This is a little bit late at night, but okay, so the flag is included in here. This is the flag here. Let's zoom in a little bit on it so you can see it. Okay, and the flag is right over here. So if you were to stand it up, okay, that's what it would look like. And you could put like a letter or a marker, some kind of identifier with that. Okay, I retract that. But there is no Art of War Tactic card for the kit, which is surprising because I've always seen it with that. Okay, but in this case here, ladies and gentlemen, my goal was not to have an Art of Tactic kit. My goal was, does this tank, would it fulfill the requirements if I wanted to make a bunch of M3 Lee tanks? Like I said, there are other tanks out there. I would say for the money, it's like $5 for the kit, depending where you go. I think it's absolutely worth it. So, hey, I hope this review was a benefit to you. Take care and God bless.